Hey, what's going on, y'all? It is Motivational Monday. We are in the building. It is 2022, my second show to start the year. So it's me, and this really cool cat on the other side of me over there, this guy, talent. And we're here today to do what we do every Monday, which is
Tell him, son.
motivate
Tell him why you mad, son.
and get your week off to the perfect start and or a great start. And first and foremost, just to get that energy pumping and get everything right. Now, before I really get into my normal Monday spiel, first and foremost, obviously we've got to give a big rest in peace to all of the amazing people who we seem to have lost since the beginning of the new year. Sidney Poitier. I heard M2 we lost him yesterday. I heard we lost
Yes.
Bob Saget. I heard somebody else in there I'm missing. So forgive me for anybody who I'm missing. And then this really struck home for me, and I know so many of y'all saw this. That building that was on fire in the Bronx, 333, what you call it? That's my old neighborhood. I literally used to live only a couple of blocks away from there. So that one kind of hit home. So big prayers out to everybody who might have been affected by that whole situation, and hoping that those families are going to be okay as best they can under the circumstance. I know there were a lot of lives lost, or a few lives lost in that as well. So rest in peace to all of those beautiful people as well. But it's Monday, y'all. We back. If you're not in the tri-state area, which means New York, Connecticut, so forth and so on, it's cold here. So what that means is dress for here. I mean, from here for here. It's that cold. They're not playing no more. All that cool out, whatever. All that. Put that away. It's cold for real, for real. So get right. Get your mind right. Get your jackets out. Get the hats and the scarves and the gloves and all that. Don't be out here playing. Don't go out there with one of them light jackets and it get disrespectful. You be mad as hell. Oh, wait a minute.
But
Y'all
you know
just
what, Amir, it's cold as it's supposed to be, actually.
and
But
exactly.
you know what happened is the weather's so in cahoots and shambled and scrambled up that fucking January into December going to January, we got 50, 60 degrees. So we got a little happy and forgot that it's January, bro. Like the real hawk is right around the corner. Don't get too fucking comfortable. And we did because we don't know how to act. December, January, you give me 60 degrees, man, I'm ready to cook out. And then 2 days later, you forget, and the hawk go, oh, no, nigga, we here. We were jammed up in traffic, but we here, bro. They was in what you call nature traffic. So the real weather, the shit was stuck on 95 for a minute, but it's here. So he right. Bundle the fuck up. Don't try to be too cool. Happy New Year, everybody. This is only our second show, the second Monday into the year. And already, like he said, we done lost some greats. You know what I found interesting? First of all, rest in peace to those families, condolences, prayers to the friends closest to it affected the most. But you brought up Bob Saget, and I thought that was, it tickles me because, you know, how we always talk about the powers that be and how they control the narrative.
Yes.
Perfect example. Like before Bill Cosby, by the way, on I think the 20th, they have this January 20th, they're dropping this documentary with the comedians talking about, we need to talk about Bill Cosby, right? So check that out on Showtime. But anyway, before Bill Cosby got in trouble, they gave him the label America's Dad. Remember that?
Yes.
He was America's dad.
Dad. Yes, he was.
Mr. Huxtable, Dr.
Doctor.
Huxtable. So now, he's been through what we've been through. They mad at him, so they try to make an example, which they did, but he technicality checkmated them back, got the hell out of there before his time was served and all that. So now Bob Saget dies. First headline on the thing is America's Dad. I said, look at these niggas, how these Indian giver motherfuckers, like when we want to change the narrative, player, we change the goddamn narrative. I'm like this, like, come on, bro. You're killing me anyway. But I just thought that is amazing. Let me tell my Bob Saget story before we move on. I met him in Montreal Comedy Festival years ago. This might be close to a decade ago. So, for the people that don't know, us comedians, it's funny because professional comedians we're like, even though you see us as stand-ups, we're like human corporations, so to speak. Like the powers that be that could place you wherever, whether it's film, TV, stage, whatever. There's all these conferences we go to. We're lucky, like if you're funny enough to be picked and invited to these conferences. Now, there's a collegiate one that we want to make college money when we're, that's predominantly for when we're younger in the game and we're more relatable to the college students. College pays big guaranteed money. So there's 4 or 5 conferences called NACA that you go to, and you're at this booth, you do a little showcase, whatever, and all these colleges, their representatives are there. It's like a conference for the weekend or the week, and they pick, and it's just like an expo. So you're sitting at the booth, and colleges see you perform, and they come to your booth, and 20 colleges want talent to come to their shit next to them, whatever. So that's one of the conferences we go on. There's also the television ones. And the Montreal Comedy Festival is one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest. So every couple of years we would do this. At that time, we were all under a certain wing, you know what I mean? Barry Katz, shout out to my man Barry Katz, good friend forever. But he was, he had me, Tracy Morgan, Tony Woods, Chappelle, Jay Moore, Dane Cook. I mean, Jeffrey Ross, Paula Bell. He had a lot of big name, Wanda Sykes. A lot of us was under this umbrella, right? So we would go to this conference. So I go to this conference one time. Now, mind you, the show is still kind of like fresh off the air. Like, what was the name of the show he did, the sitcom? Bob Saget.
I can't think of it. Was it Full House or
Full
Family
House. There you
something?
go, Full House. So, on Full House, it had just kind of ended and hit syndication. So it was like, reruns every night. It was on TV every night. So he was still big, famous face in the game, but it was over. So he was now getting back to his comedy roots, which was hilarious because if you've never had a chance to see Bob Saget perform, you watch Full House, and like I said, it's America's Dad, and you see him live, Amir, this motherfucker is filthy blue comedy. It blows it blows the audience mind, first of all, but like no one expect, myself included, you know what I mean? And my shit ain't, the greenest, you know what I'm saying? It got blue to it, but he put us to shame. He put Def Comedy Jam to shame how blue and rugged his shit is. So him getting back to his stage roots after all these years of being dad on Full House, like he never gets the laughs. Like people are just shocked. Like he gets up there, you know what I'm saying? And suck my white balls. Everybody's like, so it just be a quiet, it's like he's bombing. And he's not that he's not funny, because he is funny. What it is the shell shockness of this guy. We watch this guy, it's as clean as it could get. He's got the twins, and then he gets on stage and cut and fuck and dick, and everybody's like, people are just fucked up. That's how it was for Tracy Morgan when he started to, get mainstream with the show and everything. People thought, oh yeah, we're gonna see you got Saturday Night Live. So everybody, 80-90% white audience, and he get up there and he's Tracy Weedno from the hood. Yo, motherfucker, the fuck is up? So this is that's my time meeting Bob Saget and shit. So we're in the same show and we're on the side of the stage, and I'm like talking to my people. It's like, yo, because we're in Canada. It was like, yo, once you get off, man, let's go hit this club, this strip club, go do this, get fucked up, man. And I'm like, yeah. But then I see him on the side of the stage, and I'm like, I gotta stay and watch. It's fucking Bob Saget. And I'm sitting there, and I'm on the side. My face got the same face as these niggas. I done. So like 20, 25 minutes, because it's like 6 or 7 of them, so you ain't got but so long. He's like, all right, you've been a weird crowd. Thank you, good night. When he walks off and he's walking by me, he's like, fucking weird crowd. And I'm still like, yeah. So that was my introduction to Bob Saget, the comedian. I thought it was very interesting and everything, but rest in peace. Definitely waiting to hear the rest of that story, because that's interesting. Somebody sent me his post on the gram the day before. Like the day before or 2 days before, like he had just performed in a spot. He was still in Florida. And he was like, yo, I had a great time. Crowd was dope. You know, he on stage doing one of these shits.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And oh, can't wait. You know, next 2 weeks we're gonna be at the such and such, whatever. So he's shouting out the show.
Yeah.
Literally the show he just
Wow.
did before they found him.
Wow.
So that was very interesting. Shout out, like you said, Sidney Poitier. Some of these things I got late because, you know, I was out of the loop the whole weekend, you know, no cell service, just put everything down. I call it a detox retreat, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
you know, had to recharge,
You
which
need to.
I'm going to talk about in the show as well. But yeah, so the Sidney Poitier thing snuck up on you. And then Tume, everybody knows me being a Kiss FM guy. That's one of my guys. You know, it was him, Bob Slade, and Bob Pickett with the open line on 98.7 Kiss FM. One of our most, if not the most informative places we had to go every week to get real community information of what was going on, you know, in the urban and Black community. So he will be missed. He was a great dude and pretty much one of those larger than life guys that made sure they fit into the room. And what I mean by that is, and this is one of the first topics we'll touch on, is knowing who you are. Knowing who you are is not just about, for lack of a better phrase, taking advantage of who you may be. You understand what I'm saying? People get those two things mixed up. People think, oh, I'm such and such, and how people look at you, that's the way you must act. No. Who I am, when I know who I am, that's the way I will always continue to act. Not who you may think I am. You know, people will watch, Amir, people see me on one project or one show and think they got it all figured out. And then they meet you and be like, yo, oh shit, I didn't know you was blah, 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 blah. Yeah, motherfucker, you didn't know who I was. You thought you knew because you seen me do my spew and that's the funny thing about comedy, bro, and performances. Every night's a snowflake. Everyone's different. This person can see me Tuesday and think I'm the best thing since sliced bread. The guy who see me on Thursday think I'm an asshole. You always at two different shows, and there was two different energies going on, and these things happen. I remember being at a roast for what was it, Mark Jackson, when he was with the Knicks, and I'm hosting the roast, and I bring up Charlie Ward, and Charlie Ward goes into his words about Mark and happy birthday and all that, but then he goes on to this kind of empowering speech, and the biggest thing that stuck out of the whole speech was dope and deep. But what I remembered and took away with that, walked away with, is he said, basketball is not who I am, it's what I do. And everybody did like that and trying to figure out, you know, and he went into breaking it down. He was like, this is who I am. I'm a man of God. I gave my life to God. You know, anybody who know Charlie Ward know he wasn't out there clubbing it and doing all that shit. He was on that court. He was tough as anybody else out there, but he was a devout religious dude. So he was like, basketball is just what I do. It's not who I am. You know, you could easily get it mixed up, which you could have. From the years he played with the Knicks, it's easy to mix that up. Knicks was tough guys. There was enforcers. This church dude, though. You know, remind me of Choir Boy from the Five Heartbeats type thing. But it's easy for people to get in their head, you know, who you are. So point number one today on Motivation Monday is I want us to know who we are. This is the beginning of the year. So this is going to be the thread and a reoccurring phrase that's going to come throughout the year, I know for a fact. Because to me, that has a lot to do with a lot of the problems we have with each other. You know, and we get caught up in what other people think we are or maybe expect from us or whatever, and we try to live that part. People, no good comes from that. Let me tell you why. Because you're living real life like a movie, like a script. Whenever you move how somebody wants you to move, or you think they want you to move, you're actually reading a script. You're actually living a script. It's like, if you ever picked up a script, anything, a play, a TV show, so your friend wrote a script, you know, he's shopping or whatever, look at a script. The script has it all laid out. Enter dark room. three guys sitting down. You enter from the left. He yells, blah, blah, blah. The lady brings out drinks, whatever it is, it's scripted. So if you're living your life and you're not living as who you actually are, but yet what people think you are, because I don't know, we always talk about Amir, keeping up with the Joneses,
Yeah.
the neighbors, peer pressure, all that. We all, don't get me wrong, that's part of adolescence and growing up.
Yes.
We're talking to grown people right now. If you're 25, 30, you're probably not going to get this for another 5-10 years. But once you pass 35 years old, that's my number that I give people. 35, things should have some sort of clarity at 35.
Yes.
At 35, a lot of those things you didn't know should have come into fruition and should have made itself a little clearer and visible, that you go, oh, okay. Why do you think the elders don't give a fuck?
Yeah.
They figure it out down the line, what matters and don't matter. Like we spend our whole life worried about all these things that really don't matter because we're told they do, or we believe they do, or we've been tricked they do, hoodwink, bamboozle, whatever you want to call it. Once you believe they do, you're that guy. You're going in motion. Got to do this, got to do this. Every day, same shit. Got to wake up, got to do that. Old people get to a point where they did shit, and now they see it, the forest through the trees, and they say, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. To your, first and foremost, that's such a great point. Yes, in 2022 and beyond, it is absolutely paramount to know who you are and to live that exact sentiment. Don't allow other people, other things, significant others, your kids, your mama and them, your daddy and them, family, the other F word, as my man says. Don't allow any of that to take hold and or to take shape and take you out of who and what you know yourself to truly be. I say this, from time to time on this platform, and I share this with y'all. You're special already. God made you that way. God breathed it into you. And now it's just a matter of you sharing that with the people and things around you. Now, will everybody get it and understand it? No, but everybody's not supposed to get it and understand it anyway. So that you got to obviously take that thought out your head and just know that whatever brand of whatever you're bringing to the world is what it's supposed to be. To your point, couple of things come to mind. So Friday that just passed, Mike Sean's show that he does on 360 Media. I was on there like I do everything. I'm just in the chat talking smack or whatever. And they brought up some conversation about relationships. So his two partners, Shawnee and Mo, saw me, saying whatever. So they was like, "Well, Amir, bring your ass in here." So Mike did one of these. Mike did one of these. Time they was like, "Y'all don't want that kind of smoke." So they was like, "What you talk about?" He was like, "I've been on several platforms with this man."
Right.
He said, Amir's the kind of guy that you get off of the show that you just did with him, and you try to go back and wonder, did you say things in perfect syntax?
Right.
Did you use it correctly? He said, this dude have you messed up. He said, but y'all want the smoke. So they was like, your boy don't want the smoke. So he was like, okay. So they sent me the, link. I got on there and, we talked about whatever it is we talked about. The whole time they was kind of sitting there quiet. Mike said, I told y'all didn't want to smoke with this man. He is official tissue. He said there's nothing he gets on, he talks about that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not official. He doesn't give you some points of views, some things to go away with, like homework. So I was just laughing, and it was just a good time. But the second thing to that is, when you look at the world as it stands, people are turning just ordinary everyday things into multi-million-dollar situations because of the way that these platforms are set up, whether you're using YouTube or TikTok or whatever. For instance, the young man who does all the simple things like people will make something seem so convoluted, like opening a door, and he has the videos where he'll just turn the doorknob and open the door. The dude is, last time I checked, worth $2 million or something like that now, from just simply making fun of simple things that people turn convoluted. We live in a world where now y'all really think that convoluting things makes it more digestible. You think it makes it make more sense. And it doesn't. Simple is still the best way to go. It always has been, it always will be. I know we don't see it that way because of another point Talent made about how the world, has all these ways that it pivots and the things that, we hear constantly and over again. So then after a while, you just start to believe it because you've heard it so much. But in your heart of all hearts, you're like, this isn't adding up. And I can't understand why it's not adding up.
Right.
So I do, co-sign what you're saying. We have to get back to, and y'all have heard me say this on this platform multiple times, and I mean it. It's a song. Go listen to it. You can't hide from yourself. You can do all this other stuff. Like I tell people, you can, tell me all the fake stuff you want to, make up these, beautiful long stories about absolutely nothing. But when the lights go off, this ring light's not on. When, you're not in front of these cameras. When nobody's around and it's just you. A lot of y'all are doing the quiet crying.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes me. The world doesn't understand. That's because you don't understand yourself. You you got to work on you. You got to get you to be the best version of you can be, and that's a constant struggle and job. Please understand that. Don't get complacent. I got to this level. There's levels to this. Yeah, okay. Well, you need to know just like there's level to it. You got to keep working. So I implore and I ask everybody who's going to see this and everybody who's watching it now, just keep working on yourself. Little tweaks here and there will get you to all of the beautiful places that you really want to be and get the best out of you optimally. So
well,
please.
what they say, everywhere you go, there you are.
Yeah.
So,
you know what I mean?
That's the realest thing they ever wrote. Like, you got it. I see so much of it, bro. And, one of the job hazards is, I call a spade a spade. Is a job hazard. You do it all the time on stage and, you ling on everything. So when I see it and I'm talking about it, one thing you're going to get from me is the real. You might not like it. It might not fit today's agenda, but it is what it is. And that's just a matter of fact. So point number one, hopefully everybody, put that jewel in the back of the nugget and wake up and start their weeks and remember that throughout the year. We'll remind you, don't worry. Time to time, we're going to come in and remember who you are. Yes. Who are we? Don't be who they say you are. You don't have to be that. Like, I think my brother, most of his life, thought he had to be this guy, and that guy who he thought he had to be, he spent more time in the cell than out. I don't love him no less, but I know what it is. It's that guy that he thought he had to be. You can be the toughest dude in your block on your project building and never really had a fight. You know who you are. You know that if you got to lay these hands on somebody, you're going to win. But you never had to do it. You got a lot of guys that know that or think that, and they got to find somebody to hit, just to prove it to themselves. You sure already know. You shouldn't have to find nobody. Then that mean you didn't really believe it. You know what I mean? So that's our jewel number one. All right, so let's go back, take a step back. Jewel number two is, it's a new year, right? New year, people, new list. That's what we're going with. We're trying to keep you motivated. New year, new list. What list are you talking about, Talent? Well, there's a list, a self-check list that you should do for yourself every year. Because a lot of us get sidetracked. So number 2 and 3 go hand in hand. What I do is my self-check list every year, right? What I do is I believe in one of the biggest sayings out there, all things in moderation. I believe in that. I live by that, die by that. That's the sword I live and die by. So because I know that, every New Year's, my new personal checklist is to put that list in place. What things that I got out of moderation, first of all, and was it a necessity or not? Why did I get out of moderation? Because all things should be in moderation. I like to socially drink like the next person, but nigga, in moderation. I got bottles of liquor at the house through the pandemic. I'm not just fucking drowning myself and killing all things in moderation. No matter what it is, partying, you know what I mean? Whatever your intake is, because everybody's food intake is different. Some people eat meat still and fowl and different things. Some people can't eat certain things. I enjoy my little crab legs and shrimp, and I offer it to somebody. Hey, you want? I can't eat that. I'm allergic. Oh, like my brother Mike, he's allergic to that shit. So cool, no problem. But even with that stuff, all things in moderation. I'm not eating at Sammy's every night. Like I'm not eating a shrimp. No one thing every night. All things in moderation. So you go back, you look at your year in review. Look at yourself, self-examination, self-check, and you say, okay, what was I doing that? I didn't really like that. I don't even know why I did that shit. Whatever. Let them talk me into it. Whatever it is. Or hey, I like when I did that. I gotta see if I can do some more of that. You understand what I'm saying? So like
Yes.
perfect example was coming out of 2020, the original pandemic year. Once the year started to flip into last year, 21, I knew I had to go into like what I quote unquote an overdrive of what you're doing. I knew that. I buckled up for it. I already knew what it was because of the clamp down, set everybody kind of back. You know, if God bless you, if you had a situation, essential worker, and you was out there still on your ground, for most of us, we got shut the fuck down, and we're sitting back relying on you essential people or whatever.
Yes.
So that was a thing that I took out of moderation and did an excessive of. You know, if I had to guess, it was triple to quadrupling, you know, the workload. You know what I mean? But when I look back at that at the end of, you know, the year, I'm like, that made sense. You know, I do I want to do that again? Absolutely not. I want to get back to the same regulation I got because I get more overall done. So what is your thing? What is your list? What is that list with you that you can take that moderation realm of what I just said and put it to that? What do you have last year on your checklist that maybe I did too much of this?
You
Maybe
know,
tone that down. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
yeah, it's so funny. First off, that's an absolutely phenomenal thing to do. The funny thing is, normally that is my stretch from around Thanksgiving to the end of the year. I start that somewhere around Thanksgiving. Just start looking back over the year, period. Just like you said, all of the things that you may have, found yourself a part of, things that might have happened by accident or on purpose, or, a combination thereof. Um, and I think that to your point, what I try to do is also look at mind frames and mindsets that no longer serve me. Um, we don't necessarily realize and understand that you are constantly being bombarded by information, whether it be from family, whether it be from friends, obviously social media and all these different platforms. All these things are constantly coming at you, and because they are doing that, you have to kind of discern some of that information and see how and where it does or does not serve you. And if it doesn't serve you, obviously you need to delete. But if it's something that you think is helpful and or something that you could use, you might have to tweak it so that it works specifically according
Yeah.
to how you need it to work.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, that is so paramount for so many of us because you know, uh, some of the shows and other things that I watch, because I've been blessed to, do this now for almost 2 years with you, or, at least over a year with you, all our shows that we do. I go and I watch other people's shows. And in watching other people's shows, I see a lot of different things, including how people may or may not be able to convey their messages, good, bad, or indifferent.
Right.
I also listen to the message, meaning what they might be trying to convey. And I think to myself, that probably needs a little bit of work or some tweaking so that it comes over in a more broader sense and or has a different feel or energy to it. Um, but to your specific question, last year coming into this year, I thought to myself because again, like I said, really starting out with this whole podcasting or just, like I said, being in front of the camera. In my heart and in my mind, I just never saw it that way. I'm great at conversing because I like to converse. I like, sharing ideas. I like people sharing ideas with me because I learn. For me, that's why it's so important to me to converse with other people is because you don't always know every perspective. Everybody has a different lane that they're running in. And you may have never run in that lane ever in your life. So when you hear the stories and the things that go along with it, you'd be like, oh my God, wait a minute, that's wild for the night. But it's also a way for you to go, wow, like I said, I might not have ever thought of that perspective had this person not shared that with me. So for me, I love the inclusiveness of that, because then what it does is I put those things in my toolbox. And when I do have to converse with friends and family or associates or whatever, and they may be going through something, I might have heard something similar to it that I could kind of advise them using the model that I heard about.
Right.
Obviously, it's not the exact same thing, but at least it gives them some idea of how to possibly move in whatever space or energy they find themselves in, because of the similarities and or the differences. So I think, for me, and like I said, and to your point, I think that that is super paramount. You gotta definitely look over what you've already accomplished and or done in the previous year, and just make those tweaks and changes, so that hopefully going into the new year, those adjustments allow you to either, like you said, gain more and do more of the things that made you feel good, and put you in the right circumstances, and obviously do less of the things that might have put you in spaces and an energy that
Yeah.
you didn't need. That in a nutshell, again, is so important. We have to start recognizing those little nuances. I know people don't think that those exist, but when you really start to look at your life and you start to see the moments where amazing things happen, at least, in your mind and your spirit and the people involved in it, then you got to think about that. And then there's people who you've been around and you like, I don't even know why I came to this damn thing, but I was trying to be supportive and or whatever. Man, I could have stayed home or whatever. You know what I mean?
And I want when we say this, I want our people to get that it's not just the first shallow thing that most black folks or minorities are going to run to. When we say this checklist or whatever with do's and don'ts, most people are going to run right to a financial situation and go, "Oh, what's no money over there? And get the bag over here." Yeah, you can put that in there, but I'm more concerned with the mental and emotional and spiritual input and output jacks, if you will.
Yeah.
If you look at the back of, like, even when I'm here in the office DJing and doing the music and stuff, there's jacks that I got to plug in from the unit to the mixer or the speaker or whatever it goes to. But it's jacks. Remember the little red and white, you
Yes.
put left and right.
Yellow. And,
Right.
mm-hmm.
So I'm more concerned with those mental jacks and those emotional jacks and those spiritual jacks, because those are the ones that are going to go the longest and have the most impact on your life going forward. So put those things into that list and see what was emotionally draining for you. You know what I mean? And what did you get hyped over? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it might not have been no money. You might have volunteered to be an assistant mentor or coach for some girls or group of little boys or whatever, and that shit just made you hype. And you felt like you was doing something in the world and making a difference. You know what? You probably fucking was. So do more of
Yes.
that. Do more of that. Like, so that's what I mean when I bring up, like I said, again, I'm human. I totally understand that, we all have financial left, right, up the middle and all that good stuff. But definitely pair up, do your list, see what things in moderation can be moved, modified, or adjusted, and then move accordingly. And then the next thing I want to jump right on to is you brought it up early with the friends and family thing. Um, it's a new year. Now here's the thing about me. Now I can't speak for everybody, but this is me. I don't necessarily put blood, above everything. I'm just going to be honest, because I have some friends that I consider closer than family, and vice versa. I have some family that I don't fuck with for whatever reasons. You know what I mean? Because again, my space is important. My little circle, mentally, emotionally, all that, even physically. So I got to be aware of everybody and how they move around you, and do they fit or they do they not fit, less of them, more of them, whatever the case may be. Check that list as well. Check that friends and family list. And Amir says it all the time, every week, call and check on your people.
Yes.
So we know those ones that they're family or friends. So we've known them long enough to know that they need a wellness check. You know, they need, as simple as it may be, sometimes a wellness check could be a 5-minute conversation. Sometimes that shit 55 minutes.
Yeah, it most certainly is. It most you know the beauty of that this last statement that you brought to the table is we technically again don't understand how impactful the simple things are now. As you stated earlier, you said as you get older, you start realizing and recognizing the things that really matter to you. And it doesn't mean that you're super right because of your list and how you've written it. It's just you really start understanding, first and foremost, peace of mind is incredibly important to you, which is speaks directly to what Talon said about paying attention to the friends and family that you have around you. Look, everybody's got some interesting family members. Everybody's got some interesting friends. The whole, the list goes on and on and on. But at this stage of your life, if you're not monitoring again the energy, truly the energy that's around you, that is a problem because largely in part, your ability to add to the collective is based off of the energy that you have. And if you have people who are always naysayers, if you have people who are always the woe is me's, if you have people who are always, sad about everything, it's draining. Now, granted, you are a special person and those people are attracted to you because you're like Times Square. You're always on 1,000.
Right.
But the problem is you can't continue to be Times Square when you got an electromagnet man draining all the daggone energy from you. You gotta let some of those people go sometimes. And it is not a case of I don't mess with you, I don't like you, and all this
No.
stuff. We got to stop taking that to heart if and when somebody may or may not respond to you in the way that you feel or thought that they should. You have to understand that they also have their own things that they're trying to deal with as well. And they may not be able to take yours on and still deal with what
Don't go
they're
too
dealing
far
with.
with that because
Okay.
you're touching on my next joint after our guest. We got our guest. Our guest is in, and this is perfect segue for him though because I look at this brother like family. I have comedy family, and I put them on a high. He logged out. Okay, private piece that he logged out. But
Okay.
I put them on a high level. So our guest today, we'll see if he comes back in. But it's Damon Williams, comedian extraordinaire, representing Chicago to the fullest. Okay, he's back. Bring him in. Bring in my man Damon Williams. Now, what zodiac you said it is, Amir?
Capricorn. It's Capricorn.
I think it's his season. Welcome, Damon Williams,
Yeah.
to the show.
Yeah.
Let's get him in here. Damon Williams, I think, is back on the log, and we're gonna bring him up from Chicago. Capricorn. He says Capricorn. Then is what?
And then it's Aquarius.
Then it's Aquarius, and then is our producer, obviously.
Prophet
Damon,
Peter
what's good, bro?
Piper.
Happy birthday, bro.
Birthday, happy birthday, brother.
Appreciate it.
You home? You in the shop?
Yeah, I came home. We had shows last night in Indianapolis, but me and my wife, we weren't real happy with the hotel, so we got out of there, man. When you take wifey with you, man, you got to up that star. That 2.5, that 3-star. Had me in a La Quinta.
You see what I'm saying? You see how this is why I fucks with him. Like, the motherfucker keep it 100 all the time. Hey, I ever tell you the story I fucked up, right? So I got a girlfriend at the time, and I'm in New Orleans. We taking a cruise out of New Orleans, so we come in a day early, right? So we're going to come back in, go to the airport, fly back home, a week cruise. So on the way back, I walk into her gate, whatever. I can't get on my flight. My shit overbooked. I got the hook up. I take a gate, make sure she good. All right, TSA, all that shit. Like he said, I went on my phone. I found a little fucking bullshit joint, 2-star, right? So I'm like saying to myself, I'm only going to be here at 5 in the morning, catch the next flight next morning. I'm just going to thug it out. Fuck that. So I'm in the lobby of this shitty ass hotel. And the fucking phone ring, and it's her. Yeah, babe, I'm canceled. Where you at? I'm gonna come over to you. Said they got a shuttle. I'm like, no. And God bless her heart, she was nice for a minute. Like, She got on the shuttle. She came in, got the little rinky-dink coffee with me. We sat for about an hour and a half, wait for the room key to be ready. And it was all good until we left that little lobby to walk to the fucking room because the shit was like a fucked up Martin Luther King joint.
Right.
So we walking and like halfway there, she just said, dragging a bag, she said, damn, this the shit they killed King at. My whole inside dropped, so I know how you feel, bro. I know how you fucking feel.
You definitely can't take a woman to a hotel with a hallway outside.
Yo, shit. Yo, they will play your ass, man. Yo, first of all, they love you, they'll do it, but don't think that shit ain't in the memory bank, nigga.
Yes.
Exactly.
Don't think you didn't give ammunition. So this is Damon Williams, superstar, birthday boy as well. First of all, happy birthday, man. Many more to you,
Yes.
fam.
Thank you.
How's Riddles going, man? I wanted to bring you in, first of all, say happy birthday, but he has a dope-ass comedy club. What's it, Alsip?
Yeah, right outside Chicago. Right outside Chicago.
Right outside Chicago, Alsip, the Riddles Comedy Club is crazy. I see you got some good shows coming up and everything. Tell the people about what's going on.
Yeah, actually, Tony Woods just left this past weekend, so it's
nice.
always good to have the vets, man. And this week, your cousin allegedly will be there.
Allegedly?
Yeah.
Ed Love is coming, right?
Yes, he was like, I'm down. He said, cool. But I've been hitting him, with the flyers and the social and stuff. And he's been, slow in replying. So it'll be Ed Lover or someone who looks like him. It might be talent.
Well, you know what it is? It's some of these dudes, and it's funny you bring that up because here's another thing for people on Motivation Monday. Handle your things as timely as possible, especially when it comes to business. One thing about Damon's the type of dude, he's like me. When I hit him, if we got some business, he shoot that video right away. He shoot that flyer, that post, whatever. Yeah. Some of these guys, man, you hit, and it's 2 days. All you need is like a quick video. Hey, I'm coming to rock with you, boom, bam. And it's like these niggas need a movie set to do it. Like, dude, just pull a fucking car over. Go, hey, everybody, I'll be there. I see you there, boom. And send me that shit and keep it moving. Dude, I give me a minute, dog. I got to get to the, I'm okay, 1 second. My barber got tuberculosis. Motherfucker.
Well,
that. We don't sell no tickets, right? Then they're like, what happened? What happened?
Right. Yeah, you had to go get your Just for Men is what happened. You ain't want to come online looking like Benjamin Button, so you held up all the promo.
Yo, you know who did that shit? Carl Payne did this shit. And he's like, I got to get a cut. I'm getting a cut today. Then it was going to get cut tomorrow. He did all that shit. And then 3 days later, when he finally did it, he still looked fucked
up. Put on a hat and keep it moving, man. Come on.
Yeah, we professional, man. Throw the little fitted on. Hey, what up? It's your boy. I'll be out there. It's a little video. Niggas ain't checking for the video, nigga. They checking for you. You can do all that shit when you get there. But right now, hey, I'm coming. Matter of fact, we comedians. Crack on yourself. Hey,
right.
I gotta get this shit. Oh my God, I'll be there. I'm gonna get a cut. Any barbers out there, any fucking thing.
Whatever.
Come up with it. But I appreciate you, brother. We were talking about before you came in, family and friends, and how the topic of, because of the new year, let's keep it real. There's some people, I got friends that are closer to family than actual blood family. You know what I mean? And then vice versa. So that's what I'm saying. And I was like, it was a great segue to bring you in because I have what I call comedy comrades. We're all comrades because we do the same thing for a living. But then there's comedy family. Like, I know I'm in good hands when I'm in Chicago with this dude. You know what I mean? Indeed. He comes to me, know I'm going to take care. I ain't going to let nothing happen to him. Like, that's comedy friendship is like, it's never no bullshit. It's never no dull fucking moment. Blah, blah, blah. You're good money. I did a show, God bless Chris Thomas. And who was on that show? Oh, my man, Brian Hooks. Because remember, I grabbed Brian after I asked you. I was like, how's it going? So I ended up grabbing him. And then after we did ours, I think it was perfect. Then we end up being on a show together in Buffalo, right? So when the last time you seen a promoter run out the club with the money? Wow. Yo, this is some straight 88 shit. The motherfucker, we doing 2 shows. First show, beautiful, everything packed. Second show, small crowd. You see a motherfucker, then you don't. And we see this nigga literally talking at the front door and run out the club. So everybody's like, where the fuck you go? What's up with the money? Hey man, he ran out the club with the money. I started laughing. So
Wow.
everybody mad. Like, why you laugh? I said, that shit ain't funny. Like, that shit funny, bro. Like, I can't tell you the last time I seen that shit like in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like you say, that's a throwback. Let me tell you the funniest promoter story I had. It was me. Oh, it's one of them anyway. One of the funniest. Me and Lavelle Crawford. I don't know who else might have been on the show, but a guy was doing a show on a college campus, right? But it wasn't a college sanctioned show. We was using their building. So
Gotcha.
you know how the promoters that be flossing, man, they pick you up in the limo and take you. They want you to go to the barbershop, to the record store. They'll take you out, meet their auntie at the fish fry. All this in the limo. All this in the limo. Now, I should have known it was a problem because when we got I came from Chicago, Lavelle came from St. Louis. We met in Miami, but we was going somewhere like Tallahassee or something, another flight. But when we got there, Lavelle's second leg, his flight was not booked. So I ended up buying the second part of his flight because I got to get Lavelle there. He the headliner, right? So we get to the city. He pick us up in the limo, so now I know we good, right? Do all that running around, take us to the hotel. We get ready. He come back, pick us up in the limo. I said, man, something don't feel right. I need that money. Before we perform, I need some bread. He said, oh, y'all want y'all money? Oh, that ain't no problem. Let me run to the box office. He went in the building for the box office, right? Talent. That is the last time I've ever seen this man in life. This before the show. He never came back. We had to sit there. I have not seen this man again in life. I swear to you.
Let me tell you something. That's from what's that movie? Top 5 with Chris Rock. Yo,
yeah.
That's the best part of that movie is that the promoter, like said.
Oh yeah, that's their character.
Because we all know that promoter. You know what I mean? I don't do limos no more because one time Hamburger and I was doing a show somewhere in Maryland, Delaware, something, and we're in the hotel. The hotel is always like red flags. The hotel is like an hour and a half from the venue, which is weird. You know what I mean? So the fuck away, an hour and a half. No, you know what? We got you. We sending a 18-passenger stretch. This one Hummers was big. Hummer stretch limo. I'm like, what? All right. Nigga, 7 o'clock. He said, be ready, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we look out Hamburger window. There's an 18-passenger stretch Hummer limo out. I said, oh, this motherfucker keep it real. Problem is, open the door, it came with 17 niggas. I was mad as an hour and a half. We in this bitch like this. And a limo squished. And I'm just the whole time shaking my head like, this is it, man. I can't, no more limos. If I gotta get my goddamn self there, I'm doing it.
Man, I might have met that same promoter because me and George Hill, I promise you, man, they came all the way to the airport. The airport was like an hour and a half, but it was packed. I'm like, a packed limo. A packed limo is like a full VIP. It's like, what is the point of this? But back to the motivational Monday and family. We made it through that bullshit.
Yo, that's cool, bro. I did like this. I peeked in there, right? I see all these motherfuckers. I closed the door and I called them. I said, bro, the fuck? He said, what, the limo ain't there? I said, no, the limo here, nigga. It's with 17 niggas, bro. Oh, them my family. That's cousin. But it ain't my family, though, bro.
Right.
I don't know these people. I got to ride an hour and a half. Me, fucking Hamburger. The only motherfucker comfortable in there was Javon Pearson because he's weird. Javon was happy as a motherfucker. Oh man. Anyway, man, I had to bring you on, shout you out. Damon Williams, this is my main man here. People follow him on IG. Shout out to IG handle, man, everything. How they can follow you.
Yeah, Damon Williams Comedy. That's my IG and that's my Facebook, and of course my website, DamonWilliamsComedy.com. So yeah, it's all, except for Twitter. Twitter is Damon Williams, no S, because somebody got the S, and I need to find that dude. Because he ain't doing nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? That's my S, dog. So it's just Damon Williams on Twitter. I cut it off.
But you know what he's probably doing? He's holding that S ransom to get money from you. Because, at the beginning of this social age, that's what happened to all the big willies. Like, Somebody
Right.
grabbed all the domains up, right, and resold them.
Yeah.
Russell Simmons had to buy Def Comedy Jam. It was crazy, like, because they knew the curve. They was ahead of the curve. They knew
Yeah.
that what the average person didn't know. So
So
they was just buying
that's a
domains.
note. That's a note for our people right now. Go on the metaverse and buy all the domains you can get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since it's
Yeah.
new, go on the metaverse, get as
Yep.
many domains as you can. Happy birthday, King. I just wanted to shout you out, man. Know that I love
Appreciate
you.
it.
Ain't nothing you can do about it. Give you flowers right now.
Happy
Boy.
birthday, King. Yes,
Thank you
sir.
Much
so much,
love,
ladies and
man.
gentlemen.
Much love.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
You got it. That's the big homie, man. Welcome to Motivation Monday once again. Thank him for stopping by. That dude crazy as hell. But that's some real shit that we go through.
Yeah.
Bro, I never forget calling the dude, and I'm like, yo, but why you got 17 niggas in it already? He was like, oh, but that's my cousin. I said, bro, but we don't know him. Like,
That's
you're not even in the joint. You sent a
on
limo.
top of that,
We
like
don't,
at
right.
least
I can see if you there and greet us coming, hey, bro, how you doing, man? My cousin, I'm going to ride with us. Boom, boom. First of all, it's too many people. If you had a couple of cousins and you ride, but you got to be there. You can't put people you don't even know that you just
in a
booked in a car
situation.
with all these strength. I'm like, man, you got to be fucking crazy, bro. I never forget that shit. That was my last limo, bro.
But to get back to what you were saying, like you said, the friends and family thing, you're right. We do have, people we are much more connected to just from life as opposed to, like you said, blood. And it's a tough space to maneuver because sometimes you want to believe that being connected to your family would seemingly be more important to not only to you, but to them as well. But they continuously either do things, say, or act in ways that you'd be like, oh, I can't do this because somebody's going to end up, this is going to go totally left. And then I'm gonna have to, be speaking to my, my auntie's gonna stop speaking to me, or my uncle stop speaking to me. You can't treat your cousin like that. You know your kid is retarded, right? You do
Right.
know that.
But see,
Like,
because you got to realize, man, here's the thing. Like, and I love all my family. I love it. I don't have no hate for nobody. But over the years, I'm a grown man. So what I do know is everybody the way I know them to be. So I know that once we start pulling out the alcohol, we're getting festive. I got to do it somewhere else. Can't be around this guy or this girl. Well, I know that, we're going to play cards and, we playing for money, we gambling. Not gambling with this one. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the things of the do's and don'ts of with who. With certain family members, we can't have a money conversation ever. I know you, bro. Like, I know you. I know how you get down. I'm not interested. I'm not knocking your shit. I'm not killing your hustle with other people, but I'm protecting self on that. You know what I mean? So that's very important. And shout out to Damon Williams because I do consider him family. It's
yes.
it's a nice amount of comedians that I can actually call that and stand by that, like, and know that they got talents back if the shit hit the fan ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's another important one. All right, and I'm gonna look right into the camera because this shit's super important. It's not always about you. I'm gonna say that again in all caps. Some funny shit. I'm gonna say it in all caps. It's not always about you. People have a problem and they always twist it to make it about them. A lot of times it's not always about you. A lot of times, like Amir said earlier, this person is doing something else or going through something or whatever the timing may be off or whatever the case may be. It's not always about you. You know what I mean? And shout out to Maceo from De La Soul because he had a post and he did a second post to clarify it, which people don't do a lot of. People say what they say and hit, and whatever. So he did a post and he had mentioned Michael Strahan's name in the post. I don't know if you've seen this.
Yes.
He has a son that played professional football in the NFL, the Rams, I believe it was. Was it the Rams?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. St. Louis at the time, St. Louis Rams. So his son is having these signs or remnants of maybe having CTE, which is a big deal in the NFL right now. They're getting banged up and it is affecting the brain and all that. And then also on top of that, the NFL changed some of the, benefits and
protocols. Yeah.
The benefits change. They get less benefits to the players. They change some package or whatever. But anyway, he puts the post out. I guess he ran into Strahan or reached out to him, and he got his direct number. And so, yeah, let's talk about whatever. So then, in trying to reach him, he said he gave it a week just before he even reached out, and then he started reaching out to no avail. So he puts the story up there, and I guess a lot of comments, you start getting negative shit about Strahan. And he was like, wait a minute, this is going in the wrong direction. It's not why I mentioned dude. I'm just telling a story. So he goes back and says, listen, let me say this first of all. I didn't put this together to do this or demean anybody or blah, blah. Dude is probably busy with a lot of shit. We all know. If you watch TV, Strahan's one of those dudes like Steve Harvey doing a million jobs at once. So he's busy with that shit. Maybe he not even seeing or hearing a message in a timely fashion to even ignore you. But people will take it like that because you have people who will always make it about them. It's not about you. You know how many times have I had $1 for every time someone, yo, why you fucking ignore me? Dude, I didn't even have time to ignore you yet. Like, I probably would have ignored your stupid ass, but I haven't had time yet. So because you did what you did at 3 o'clock, that's your world. My world at 3 o'clock was doing something different, so we didn't get time to do that. Your 3 may not be my 3. Just like Damon. You know how many times we're going back and forth in text to make this interview because I had to remember Chicago. He's an hour behind us.
Yes.
So when I'm saying, hey, can you slide in, give you 6:30? He's like, oh, 6:30, 7:30? No, Eastern. So that little quick loss in translation had to get cleared up. And that's how it really be in people's lives sometimes. Sometimes somebody's going through something and them or they or one person, whatever it is, reach out to the other side. And if it don't click in a certain fashion or, whatever, within reason, it's like, some comedian had the funniest joke back in the day. But back then we were leaving voicemails a lot. So it was a real funny joke about if you don't answer a woman's fucking voicemail, bro, you don't call back. And that bitch goes from sanity to insanity in 4 messages. He said, the bitch called like, hey, what's up? Thinking about you. Give me a call. The second one, hey, nigga, I left you a message. What's up? I was just thinking about it. Goddamn, give me a call when you get a minute. Nigga. Really, nigga? I've been calling you all fucking day. You need message me. Sorry, motherfucker. That's all right. Bet. You know what? Fuck your little dick ass, you bitch ass nigga. Nobody needs to fucking call back. You punk motherfucker. Boom, boom. Like, dude. Now, after you hit 5 of them shit, you like, this bitch is crazy. And then you let that shit sit. Guess what? First thing in the morning. Hey, bro, it's me again. Just making sure you good. But take your psycho ass out of here. Just psycho moronic fucking ass off my phone. Let me change my number. I'm changing the number, the cell service. I'm buying my own cell tower. Fuck out of here. Looney Tune, motherfucker. It ain't always about you. People, a lot of us have a bad habit of doing that immediately.
Yes. I agree. That one is a very interesting one because I think again, and seemingly now more so than ever. Before, like you said, it would be an answer machine and all these nefarious things. But now, because all of this technology is intrusive, I'm going to say that again. Technology is now intrusive, meaning if y'all know on some of these apps, Instagram, Facebook, some of these various apps, you can actually face call your friends and associates and family and all of that stuff. Now, the reason why I bring that into play is because obviously everybody doesn't always want to be on FaceTime. Sometimes people don't want to talk on the phone. Sometimes people don't want to text. It doesn't mean that they hate you and or, they're mad at you or whatever the case may be. There could be a number of things going on. They could be tied up, again, doing something else. There could be the mere fact that they may not have anything to actually damn say. Sometimes you just don't have anything to talk about. It doesn't make you a bad person because you don't have anything to talk about. You just don't have anything to talk about. And that's okay, too, because sometimes you need a break, again, to recharge your battery. I can't help you get out of the funk that you're in if I'm in a funk myself. Now there's 2 of us in a funk, and all we doing is passing the same terrible energy back and forth. This doesn't help anybody. This doesn't help anybody. You know what I mean? Like, and people forget that. They like you ever have a conversation with somebody, and to your point, they force you into a conversation. So now you trying to, do this and that, and you like, and in your heart and your mind, this is a terrible conversation. But the train wreck you can't stop. So you just sit on the phone, just trying to keep it going. Or sometimes it's even worse. Because you're on FaceTime and the person is sitting there and you're looking at each other and you so I just, I think we just have to do a better job to exactly what Talent said, understanding that everything it isn't always about you.
Jesus Christ. It
Sometimes we have to truly allow ourselves to understand that people also have their own things that they're going through. And here's my thing. It is not your job, by the way, also. I'll put an addendum to that. To tell somebody that their situation is not important because in the moment you feel yours is. That's not your job. It's not your job. Your job is to be understanding and go, you know what? I try to do this much more so than I've ever tried to do this before, because I used to go from 0 to 1,000 on anything and for any reason. And I started working on that about a year or 2 years ago. And I said, I'm going to stop doing that. If I find myself upset and or emotional about something, I'm going to just say to the person, look, why don't you let me process this a little bit. I promise I'll give you a call back. I'm hopefully have taken my emotions out of this or whatever. Because 90% of the time, the way that things go left is because you're in your emotions. You're not logically looking at the situation and or handling it logically. You're handling it from an emotional standpoint. And an emotional standpoint usually leads to a lot of crazy stuff that you can't take back. That paper's wrinkled. You can't unwrinkle it. You say some things, and you say to yourself, well, or you try to come back with I was emotional. No, that means you was really feeling it. That's why you were so emotional about it. Doesn't make it right or wrong, but it does make it something that we now have to add into the mix when we start talking about things and or trying to fix this. So I think it behooves everybody. If you find yourself emotional in a situation, just, say, hey, you mind if I allow my emotions to calm down and, at least give myself a chance to kind of look at this from a logistical standpoint versus an emotional one, because I know me, and being in my emotions right now, I'm liable to say and or do some things that may be detrimental and I can't take back later because I know myself. And that goes back to how we started all of this, which was you got to know yourself. You gotta work on knowing yourself, and you got to work on making sure that the things that you do and how you go about handling that part of who you are and what you bring to the table plays out exactly how it should play out, not how other people think it should play out. Because you don't control what people think of you. That's not your job. You just go out and do you and be the best you that you can be. And like I said, those who are attracted to it by virtue of energy, spirituality, or any other things, great. But if they're also not, that's cool too. Your job isn't to pull everybody along.
Hey, that's another thing. Another thing I stopped doing. We laughing at the voicemail. I stopped taking voicemails after the shit like that. Like, I don't take, if you call my phone and let it ring out and try to leave, you can't leave on voicemail. Ain't set up. It's going to say it ain't set up. It's going to say it's full, whatever. Because who the fuck, like I used to handle my voicemails like a fucking office clerk. I get my book opened up. I got my pen. I'm listening to it. I'm time stamping each voicemail, what it is. I got to call back and do it, whatever. And he started getting those crazy joints like that. I said, fuck voicemail. Ain't this shit. You get me, you get me. You don't get me, fuck that. You're gonna make me lose my mind. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Stay positive, people. So we're gonna go over the past 5 things, and then I'm gonna give you in closing number 6. So number 1 was know who you are. We need to know who we are going forward. Number 2 was, new year, new checklist, which, combined with all things in moderation. We hit the, friends and family, know who's worth more to you. Keep your circles close or distant if need be. Number 5, of course, was it's not always about us, meaning you. It's not always about you. Don't get so upset and judge people and make rash decisions and replies and reflexes because of what you think something is going on and doing, and it ain't, because you made it about you and nobody even invited you to make it about you. You know, trust me, if it's gonna be about you, first thing I'm gonna say, hey, can I talk to you? Because this shit about you. But if life is just going on, don't narrow it in and make it this little box about you so to give yourself a reason to be upset. That's toxic. And like the man said, you get in that toxic conversation, outs. Only toxic relationships that work is alcoholics. Remember that. Crackheads and alcoholics, they somehow make it work because crack and liquor is toxic. So go figure. Last but not least, man, let's be conscious of this movement started. I watched people pick this baton up a few years ago and kind of seemingly stick to it, some little stick-to-itiveness with our community. And that's us giving our flowers to people before they're gone, while they're still alive, giving our flowers to our favorite people. Now, I know we see it on certain spectrums that we think that that's it. It's not about celebrityism. It's not about entertainers, athletes, and all that. It's about people who've been doing the damn thing in your life. You might have a grandmother that held it fucking up. Like, I cried so hard this past Christmas because what came into my mind, I don't know what the fuck I was watching. I'm a wuss these days ever since, you lose your parent, you used to start crying at anything. So I'm watching something and I just start crying because my mind and thought process went to, it was something about Christmas, and I'm looking at these kids play with these toys, Amir, and I'm like saying to myself, because I never sat down and really just registered it fully, that I never had a bad Christmas as a kid. As a kid, the powers that be, grandparents, parents, aunties, uncles, sis, whatever, they made that shit happen every year. They made it happen every year. You know what I mean? And even when we wasn't at our best as kids, maybe school grades or whatever, even when we wasn't at our best, holding up our end of the deal, motherfuckers would, they'll shake you. They had this, black parents are funny. They shake you, meaning they'll go through the motion and make it look like you ain't gonna have no Christmas, just to make their point, And just when they let you watch everybody open their shit up, you crying and booing. Told you shouldn't been fucking around in school. You sitting there, oh my God, I can't believe they're gonna do this shit. And just when you lost all hope, motherfucker come out to your boxes. There you go. You lucky you got this shit, motherfucker. And now you got toys and your whole shit. But what it did was rattle your ass. Like, they serious about this school shit. They want me to really learn something. But that's my point. And there might be a grandmother, a mother, an auntie, a sister, a brother, whatever the case may be, that you have to stop down and say, you know what? I got to recognize this person. I give you your flowers, man. Whether that's, you might take them to a dinner. You might have something delivered, surprise them at the house. You might have some relatives come, whatever your way is. Let's do that. I like that trend is catching on, and I think that's positive for all parties involved. I think it does something for you, makes you feel good, because when we do it, believe it or not, people, when we do good deeds, we feel good.
Yes.
That energy is contagious and carries over.
To add to, the only thing I'll add to that is also, again, I told y'all, sometimes it's the simplest things. It is still in vogue, cool to just say, thank you. I really appreciate, what you did. That you have no idea how far that goes to so many people in so many situations, because on a grander scale, we've become so programmed to believe that when people do things for us, and especially those of us either in relationships or whatever the case may be, it's supposedly expected. Nothing is expected, and it shouldn't be. It should be, wow, this person thought enough of me, decided to take the time to, they bothered to listen and understand where I'm coming from, so they did something specifically catering to me. Let's be mindful of that. It's okay to still say thank you. And you know what? I really appreciate the effort and the energy that you put into this, because those are still powerful words, because they're just that, powerful words. It's great, like you said, to make the gestures and such, but it's also great to then thank people, because then they know that they understand that it's really heartfelt and it meant something to you as well. Some people do cards and various other things. To your exact point, I got a friend of mine. She sends me a Christmas card every year. That was the only Christmas card I got. I ain't getting all the Christmas cards from family, anything. She sends me a Christmas card every year. She sent me one this year. I was, got sick, so I got out of, sorts, and I ended up calling her. I left a long voicemail. And I said, "Hey, Jan, I got to thank you." I said, "It's always you came through for Christmas, because there's stretches of the year that we don't speak, we don't see each other, we don't hear from each other. But Christmas, every year, she sends me a Christmas card. This has been since we was like 16 years old." So I told her, I said, "I really appreciate the gesture and the time and energy." And it was handwritten. It wasn't, no big card, but it was just enough to say happy holidays to you and the family. Hope everybody's doing well, and so forth and so on. It's still little things that just mean the world to every one of us. You could be the toughest, like Tyler said, you could be the toughest person in the world. I find myself looking at certain, like you said, certain movies or TV shows or whatever, and the tears. I was watching to show y'all how funny life is. Yesterday, what's the young lady? Blossom. I don't know what her real name is, but she got a new show, and I was watching it yesterday. And some kind of way they spun into other childhood actors who had shows. So they had Joey, and they had like two other people, and Blossom's best friend from the show Blossom, the one that was on the Parkers. Remember the little
Okay.
white girl that was
Yeah.
on the Parkers? So they were all on the show together. And at the very end, she put the Blossom hat on, and she said, "This is an ode to every," and I was like, wow. I was just sitting there watching the show like, that was dope. That was dope, because, now she's been on Jeopardy. She's, hosted Jeopardy. She's, like I said, got a new show. She's even a real microbiologist,
Yeah,
or,
she's smart as well. Yeah, she's real
yeah, you
smart.
know what I mean? But it was interesting because we forgot she was Blossom in our childhood. That's
Yeah.
all we knew her as. So now that she's an adult and a grown woman, she's, obviously venturing into new things and, putting herself out there in a different capacity. But for a good portion of us, that's how we got introduced to her. That's who she has been to us for years and years and years. Even when I used to watch the Parkers and I used to see the little white girl, I used to be like, "That's the little chick that used to hang out with Blossom on the show." And it's
That
sad
give
to
me.
say
You
that.
just reminded me. That's a guest we can have on one week. The girl Cherry, the black girl from Punky Brewster. Remember
Okay.
Punky Brewster?
Okay.
Yeah. So Cherry, childhood star. Went on to do a bunch of stuff, but she's a friend of the room. So we'll definitely have on. That'll be a great Motivation Monday, man, to bring up, some people from the past that made you feel good.
Yes, and
Made you
and
feel
and,
good.
and again, with that having been said, like Talon said, just start doing that, man. It there is. I'm telling you, you feel so much better when you do something for somebody else, and you see the appreciation, you see the way that they feel about you, applauding them. I can't, like, I work in corporate America, and all of my vendors, they, to a man or woman, they be like, "Yo, we love you because you really say thank you. You don't just bark orders like, 'Look, I need you to do this, that, the third,' and then leave it at that. You be like, 'Look, the next day, shoot them a text message. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all taking care of A, B, C, and D. Place looks wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.'" Because it means something. We gotta understand that those slight nuances mean something, y'all. So please, let's get back, like Talon said, let's keep that going, and let's make sure that we're doing that for each and every person who's in your circle, like you said, who you care to do it for, because there are gonna be some people who you're gonna be like, "Fuck them. It is what it is." I mean, that's just the way
In
we get.
the words of Amir, fuck them. And stay motivated, people. This has been Motivated Mondays. I know we went a little over, but sometimes these points need to be drilled home, that you just can't rush them out. Thank you again for Damon Williams. Thank you to
Yes,
super producer Prophet Pete in the
please.
background, making us
Yes.
look good on here and running the board the right way. Until next Monday, actually, Amir and I will probably see Friday, because Friday is race debaters. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and we might pop in with a little earmanage
Somewhere.
before that. Yeah. So it's one of those weeks, man. Keeping it festive. We love y'all. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. Happy Monday. Stay motivated. Peace.
Blessings.